Hi, in this tutorial I'm going to talk about using the bebop dominant scale. So in the early 1940s, a jazz style which we now call bebop started to emerge, and there were two jazz giants who really led the way with bebop. That's Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker, and they both of them began finding solutions to an age-old problem facing jazz improvisers when playing scale passages in eighth notes using the ordinary modes. So if I was to play a C7 chord or C dominant 7th chord, the default mode to choose for improvising would be a C Mixolydian mode. It's like a C major scale but with B flat instead of B. So a brief explanation of one or two technical names for those who aren't familiar with them. First of all, tonic and dominant. Tonic is simply the first note of a scale. If I take an F major scale, first note is F, we call that the tonic. The dominant is the fifth note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we also use these names for the chords that you build on those notes. So in the key of F, the tonic chord is this one, F major 7, and the dominant 7th chord is this one. C dominant 7th is its full name, we generally just call it C7. Mixolydian mode simply means the notes of a major scale, but starting on the fifth note of that scale. So in the key of F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we play an F major scale, but starting on C, so it's got the B flat in it, we get a C Mixolydian mode. So what exactly is the problem with that when you're improvising over the dominant 7th? Well, it can be a problem. Let me play a descending scale passage like this, a Mixolydian mode coming down over a C7 chord. Just playing a shell voice in the left hand, root 3rd and 7th. Now, did you feel it just jar a little bit, particularly on the F? The F in the Mixolydian mode clashes badly with the E in the C dominant 7th chord. The reason you felt it jar so much there was because it fell on a downbeat, and also it was on a strong downbeat. It was on beat 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, the thing about notes like that, non-chord notes, is when they're played as passing notes in between two chord notes and on an upbeat, say, you don't really get that feeling of them jarring. So what players like Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker started doing was adding an extra note to the modes, and it kind of got rid of that problem. In the case of the Mixolydian mode, they added the major 7th and started playing the scale like that. Now that's made it an 8th note scale. And as long as you start that on one of the chord notes, the root, the 3rd, the 5th or the 7th, all the chord notes will come on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Start on the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. On the 5th, on the 7th. Now, because it's an 8-note scale, it also means that you could play 2 octaves of the scale, or as many octaves as you like, in fact, and you will always land on the chord notes will always land on the downbeats as long as you start on a chord note. It means that you can come up with little patterns when you're improvising. You can just start playing that mode or scale and go one way for a while, or up for a while, then reverse direction, then come down for a bit, go back up as many times as you like. So for instance, I could start on the 3rd of the chord and do something like that. I could start on the C. Could start on the 5th. Could start on the 7th. can combine these patterns. Say, let's take the second pattern I did finishes on the third. The first pattern I did started on the third. So you could play the second one followed by the first one. You could take the first one, the third one or the fourth one, they all end up on C. The second one starts on C, so you could take any of those and then follow it by the second one. So let's take the one starting on the 7th, for instance. The patterns you can come up with are absolutely endless. Don't forget as well that as well as playing these in quavers, it works if you go into double time and play them in semi-quaver. So if I took that fourth one, for instance, you can play it in semi-quavers instead, and it will always work. Okay, hope you found that useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about combining the dominant bebop scale with arpeggios. See you in the next video.